attack to do this as well, but I'm just going to use the triangle attack. I don't feel like using the MP. That is one thing I wish they changed about this game. I wish the triangle attack was really different, like a side swipe or something. It just has too much recovery and too much startup to be useful for anything. Now this is another thing. You're going to find leaves on the ground in this stage, and if you burn the leaves, you're going to see gold coins, which are really valuable. There's not much opportunities to farm for money from the way I'm playing this game. I'm just trying to do this 100% as fast as I can. There's about 3 or 4 of those leaves that you're going to find on this stage, and I do farm money later on in the game, but I farm it so late into the game that it doesn't really make too much of a difference. I actually don't know if those leaves respawn once you leave the area as well. Pretty sure they don't, but if they do, that'd probably be the best way to farm money in the entire game. If they would just respawn if you walk outside of the room. I get confused in this room a lot, as you're seeing, and what I'm trying to do is figure out if there's any more chests left to get. Now sadly, trying to do that, I jump into an area where there's like 3 or 4 shadow beams, and if Musashi didn't climb that area immediately, he would have died. The shadow beams will more or less stun lock you, and you can't really fight back against them. You just get swarmed. It's sort of like getting swarmed by oddballs. But this is the chest I was looking for the entire time. Now that I've gotten this chest, I can progress further into the Picadon jungle, and I'm almost at the end of it, or at least the end of the first section. The second visit's a lot worse, like I had said before. That's another thing I never really mentioned. After you light up those little holes, these gigantic bugs, these beetles, just fly out of nowhere, and they allow you to ride them. Makes no sense, but this is video game logic, where nothing makes sense anyway.
Sir, they have completed the area survey. It's just as the research team expected. Vast deposits of nebulite lie buried underground. Headquarters has advised us to begin constructing a nebulite mine and fortifications immediately.
I see. So much for saving the rainforests. In the hands of my genius, this ordinary jungle you see before you will be transformed into a fantastic concrete jungle. Yes, I will make it my own giant research center. Soon, all the world shall know the magnitude of my brilliance. First, we must do away with those pathetic nuisances and their beloved beasts.
Now I'm pretty sure this is the second to last area for the first visit in Picadon Jungle. Now when you fall down, there's just like a horde of shadow beings waiting to fuck you up. And I try to get away from them as fast as humanly possible, because if I don't, Musashi will get swarmed and die, just like always. I'm also pretty sure that I forget to copy their ability until the last part of the game, but I have to go back here to get juggle no matter what I do, so it doesn't really make too much of a difference. Juggle requires 150 focus to copy, just like Leaping Tiger, and I'm only going to use juggle for the side quests because it doesn't have much of a purpose outside of that. Now what I was worried about doing was actually climbing up there and just getting fucking raped by shadow beams, so I decided to let them actually come down to fight Musashi instead. And by doing that, I'm just going to kill them with 360s over and over again. And to the left, you're going to see these leaves. Once again, if you destroy these leaves with the Sword of Fire, which I'm pretty sure is the only thing that can destroy them, you get a hell of a lot of money. Now the one thing I don't like about enemies using that attack, Karmic Circle, when they use it, that attack, I'm pretty sure it can clip through walls, and I've had that happen a lot. I can't really see when that's going to happen, or avoid it. It's not really too much of a problem on the first visit, it's more of a problem on the second visit. And while I tried to defend that attack, it actually reached around through the guard and stopped it. Looking back, I probably should have killed a lot of these enemies because I was going to have to farm on my second visit anyway to get enough focus to actually use Karmic Circle. Well, duplicate it. And I'm looking down here just to make sure that there's no chest I'm missing so I can continue on. And after this gigantic beetle just flies us in here, we're going to see that angry angler that we came all the way here just to get, which means you have to equip the ability to kill it, because if you kill it normally, that won't do anything. You actually got a glimpse of it as I went to pick up that chest. It just narrowly missed Musashi. Now just hitting it with the ability is not enough, you actually have to kill it with the ability. When you do, it gets filleted, we get our angry angler, and all we have to do now is just get out of here. Which is easier said than done. We get to fight one of the hardest bosses in my opinion in the entire game. Now what I wanted to do originally was use the Sword of Fire, and I'm not completely sure if you get bonus damage for using it on this boss. I'm pretty sure it does, just not completely sure. And because I don't have the item that reduces the MP cost of the Sword of Fire by half, instead what I'm going to have to do is use the Sword of Water, and use the MP item that reduces that by half. Now the main reason that I fucking hate this boss in particular, it has a really easy pattern. Once the boss goes down into the water and you start seeing ripples, whatever beetle you're on, it's going to attack. It eats that beetle and you magically get another one out of fucking nowhere. Now the problem I have with this boss fight and the one after this one, and yeah, it's a two-part boss fight, bullshit. But the problem I have with it is the jumping between these bugs, like left and right. It's not really responsive, and a lot of the times I try to jump from bug to bug, it will fail. Musashi will get hit and die. That's the main problem I have with the fight. If jumping from these bugs left and right, if that was consistent, I would not mind this fight. The pattern is not that bad. That's not the part of this fight that I don't like. It's the like. Also, if the boss eats the middle bug out of these three, you're pretty much fucked if it tries to attack you from there, because you can't have a bug to jump to. If it eats the middle one and it tries to attack you, a lot of these attacks, the only way to avoid them is to jump from bug to bug, and you can't do that if the middle one is missing or dies. So at all costs, if you know it's going to attack one of them, make sure it attacks the left or the right one. But you get a little slow-mo scene here, and you get an even bigger Crimson Gorger, which, when I saw that shit, I was really pissed because the boss fight was bad enough. And if you die, you have to do both of these boss fights all over again. Not just one, both. Now normally I would try to avoid that gigantic fire blast that it's using right there. But you can just use invincibility frames to not deal with that shit at all. But when it goes for this attack, invincibility frames will not fucking save you. You want to jump, and I didn't. As you can see, the HP I lost from that's just... I think that was like 3/4 of his health just fucking gone because I fucked up. Now what I try to do is jump at the last second. Because of how unresponsive jumping from bug to bug is in this game, Musashi nearly died for it. I mean, he's surviving on like 10 HP. Now even this lightning part you're seeing right here as a pattern, as long as you learn the pattern you shouldn't get hit. But it's not the problem with the pattern, the problem is jumping from bug to bug, which is sometimes unresponsive and will get you fucking killed. If jumping from bug to bug was consistent, like I said before, I would not mind this boss fight. That's the main problem I have with it. A lot of sections of this boss fight require you to jump from bug to bug seamlessly so that you don't die. Now I was trying to save my HP and MP recovery item until I had expended all of my MP. And I didn't want to use it that early either, but the reason I used it is because I got hit in the first place. Now the worst thing that can possibly happen in this boss fight is that it kills the middle bug, because if it kills the middle bug, you don't have anything to jump to when it goes for an attack, like right now. The bug will get there, but it doesn't get there in time. If I had tried to jump to it, it wouldn't let me. That's one of the main issues I have with this boss fight, is jumping from bug to bug. That's bullshit. That's the part, like, that's the main thing that gets Musashi killed in this boss fight. If that was consistent, this would not be bad. But yeah, if you let the middle bug die, you're pretty much screwed. You have to let the ones on the left and right die. Now you're going to see me holding left and right on these bugs, because if I try to just jump from the middle, or if I just try to jump and not hold left or right, 9 out of 10 times it won't work like it should. Even holding left and right, sometimes it will fail, and I'll take a hit and almost die for it. I mean, even if you follow the pattern of this boss, which is pretty similar to the pattern of the other boss, you can still die, no matter what you do. Just because the game, like, it's the game's fault. It's not your fault for this boss fight, which is what I don't like. Now the problem with this is now I'm going to lose the middle bug, so if it goes for an attack, I don't have anything to jump to and Musashi will get hit. Luckily though, it decides to go into the water and not attack. What I was trying to do right there is make sure that it attacks the bug on the left. As long as it attacks the one on the left or the right, there's not really much of a problem with it. It's just, if it attacks the bug in the middle, you're fucked. Also, if you have enough MP and you don't feel like jumping over these lightning bolts, you can just use the Sword of Water's attack or the Sword of Earth's attack to completely avoid it using invincibility frames, just like everything else in the game. And I guess that kind of goes without saying at this point. That first jump that you see me fail, and I actually jumped early because I didn't trust the game in the first place. But that first jump that failed was an example of why I don't like this boss in the first place. If that second jump had failed, I would have gotten hit, and because I only have about 40% left, Musashi would have died. Now I'm pretty sure that I don't have any more MP recovery items, so now you get to see what I was talking about earlier, and how your MP will automatically refill to a certain point. If it wasn't for that, you could still kill this boss even if your MP didn't refill. It would just be a lot harder